Eddie Jordan has always done things the hard way. He made his millions in Formula One, the toughest, richest and most competitive sport in the world. He's the man who discovered Michael Schumacher and single-handedly took on the might of Ferrari and McLaren. Now, Eddie is facing his toughest ever challenge. He's trying to transform the lives of 8 hardened car criminals.
We like cars. He's got money, we want money.
Let's see what you know about cars.
With just 7 weeks to change their attitudes.
I'm spending a lot of my time, you're spending a lot of your time. What's the problem? He can go himself.
Make them fit for the world of work.
You're pissing me off.
And build them into a winning race team. Can Eddie get their lives back on track?
This could be our last opportunity to change direction.
Since the project began 4 weeks ago, Eddie has struggled in his quest to turn around the lives of 8 car criminals.
When I get sentenced today, I'm most probably looking for a prison sentence.
They struggled with the discipline of the project. Attitudes went into freefall. Building a team became impossible, and the project now faces collapse.
Do you think at this moment in time you're employable? No. Am I wasting my time?
Eddie's being forced to take drastic measures.
It is better for you that we stop the project with you. It's finished.
Bottom line is, guys, King won't be coming back to this project.
This week, Eddie must search to fill every role in his race team as he fights to hold the project together.
It would be too easy just to give up on them.
I reckon that I would cope pretty well in prison.
How can I give you yet another last chance? And if I fail, well, I'll fail.
My name will be on the line. I don't want any of you letting me down.
But I won't go down without a fight.
Okay, straight up. Lovely.
It's the start of a make-or-break week for Eddie as he struggles to get his project back on track. Having kicked out one team member for disruptive behaviour, Eddie doesn't want to lose anyone else.
Hang around again.
His biggest problem at the moment is the team's current leader, Dave, who's been missing for the last 4 days. Until now.
Man.
Hey! Aha! How are you? You came late, bruv. What was the point of coming?
Huh? Got mugged yesterday morning, yeah? Went up Bill Station to report it.
You got robbed?
Yeah, went down to Old Bill Station to report it. They've typed into my name into their computer and it's come up with a warrant.
Oh.
No
You've got to be in, because otherwise we've just lost one member of the team.
King.
And you were going to be next if you hadn't turned up today.
"17-year-old Dave has spent the last year living in a hostel after repeated rows with his parents. He hasn't had a permanent job since leaving school a year ago.
During school, I was bullied quite a bit. I didn't exactly have any friends. I argued with my mum quite a bit when I was at home. We never really got on, and I was chucked out at the age of 17.
Earlier in the project, Eddie saw potential in Dave and decided to give him the role of team boss.
He's intelligent. He has a good analytical brain. I think you are the best one to lead this group.
But since becoming the team leader, Dave has failed to help Eddie motivate and set an example to the others. Eddie wants to keep Dave, but he's dragging down the team.
These are the serious times now. We actually are like on the deadline coming soon, so we need the attendance to be high. We need somebody to actually set the example and actually do it as a leader, you know what I'm saying? So until we get that role model, I don't think this team can go anywhere.
The project's future is still very fragile, and Eddie has to deal with the problem.
Dave.
Where have you been?
Chaos.
What's happened?
I've had people approaching me, bailiffs and stuff, saying that I owe money in rent and they want to take like my TV or something to start paying off this debt for my rent. I've been nicked because of a fine, because I had a warrant out for my arrest I didn't even know about.
Chaos for you and chaos for me. I feel let down because I chose you above everyone else for the team boss. No sooner had I appointed you to do that, you have not turned up since. You made me look like a dickhead, to be honest. Do you think I can keep you as team boss?
You can.
Your circumstances aren't easy, and I'm bearing that in mind. But I have to think about the other guys. Now, I don't want you to get thrown off this project, but I have to think carefully as to what the best outcome for the team is. Not for Dave, not for Eddie, for the team. Okay, I have a lot of things to think about. And I want you to really, really put a big effort in right from this moment. Dave has a lot on his plate. For a 17-year-old, to have a domestic family household problem, obviously a financial problem, housing problem. I have to think when I was 17, I wouldn't have known what a housing authority house was. So I have to give him a lot of credit for having the balls to go out and do it himself.
I don't think he does understand, but there we go. You think about it, yeah, and he's one of those people, and he's just picked one thing that he likes doing, and he's made a career out of it. Through that, he hasn't actually had it that hard.
There are also other complications with him. You know, one day he gets mugged, the next day he gets stabbed, the next day something. There's just an ongoing litany of problems surrounding Dave.
To be honest, that's my private business. I don't even want to talk about it now, but I've got to. Otherwise I'm going to get chucked of here, yeah? When I got offered this, it was like a miracle to me, yeah? I had no job, no nothing, yeah? And now I've been given a chance, now I'm about to lose that chance. I ain't happy. It's not like I want to lose this.
As Eddie struggles to keep all the lads on track,
Locked up, kept away from my family, friends.
some are about to go completely off the rails. In 3 weeks' time, the car criminals on Eddie Jordan's project will compete in one of Britain's biggest banger races.
It needs to come up and across.
Yeah, we need to look, see how it's sitting. Look from this angle there. Look, you can see. Look straight across there.
One of the key race team roles Eddie needs to fill is head mechanic. Nicky's skills have impressed Eddie the most, but there's a catch. Having looked at Nicky's past history, Eddie is worried by the violent outbursts that have messed up both his schooling and his career in the army.
I had an argument with one of my teachers. I smacked him and he went down the stairs, broke his arm, and I got kicked out.
He has got a really bad temper. I was forever at the school. He used to just rebel against the whole thing.
So I joined the army, but in the end I got fed up with the people in there because I had a big fight with one of the boys.
Concerned that Nicky may be too much of a hothead for a role that involves giving orders, Eddie calls him to the office.
You were a week in the army and you had a row.
Basically, he kept messing around when we was on parade, and I told him to stop messing around. He didn't like it, and he picked up the webbing, which had your spade, your mess tins and everything in, threw it at me, and I opened up the webbing, took the spade out, tightened it up and started beating him with it.
Did you hurt him?
Yeah, I did hurt him, and I reckon if I did carry on beating him with it, I could have killed him.
Your anger has got you into some serious trouble with your school, your career, and it's an issue that you must know that you've got to address. All of the lads on the project have personal issues. For my team to work, I need them to improve as individuals. In the case of Nicky, I think there are some real issues bubbling under the surface that need to be addressed.
I've got a bad temper. If someone's pushing me to my limits, then yeah, it is acceptable that I use violence.
Pressure will mount in the workshop as the lads approach the final race, and Eddie wants to make sure that Nicky won't snap. He's arranged for Nicky to visit anger management specialist Mike Fisher in the hope he can begin to put this problem right.
What I'm hearing is if somebody winds you up and keeps pushing, keeps prodding, It's only a matter of time before you...
Just turn around and snap. Someone used to look at me wrong. I used to walk up to them, you got a problem? And if they carry on, then I'd nut them or something.
Nut them?
Yeah, headbutt them, smack them, whatever. Do whatever to get them on the floor.
Right. And do you imagine that you've always had an anger problem?
I think it was really... my anger started off when I was in primary school, really. Me and this boy, we didn't really get on much. He sort of bullied me quite a lot. So
okay.
I think it, yeah.
So you
I
were
think
bullied,
it was,
huh?
yeah. I think it was really through the bullying through primary school that set me off.
Yep. Well, usually what happens is that I bully you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you bully others around you as a way of kind of dealing with the bullying that you experience.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things that I want to do with you, but I don't know where it's going to go. I'm just trying to get an understanding of kind of where you're at and what you're about.
Having established the root of his problem and to look at how much Nicky's violent temper is affecting his life, Mike asks him to try and draw his anger.
This is about giving his anger form, shape, texture, colour. So it's no longer just some kind of abstract concept that's going on in the back of his head. Now all of a sudden it becomes something which is very, very alive in a way that it's not been alive before. What's that, a stick of TNT?
Yep, and a clock.
With a clock.
Well, it's the bomb, really. If I do go off, it would be dangerous.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
That's why I drew the clock.
That's it. Now that you're looking at it, what's your thoughts and feelings?
That's bad. I shouldn't be like that, really, when you think about it.
It's bad, it shouldn't be like that?
I shouldn't be like that.
Because?
Can't go on living life through anger.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You can see he's a caring and responsible lad who acknowledges that he's made mistakes and he really wants to better himself and, you know, turn his life around. And I have a lot of admiration for that kind of chap.
It was pretty strange, really, because I've never really spoke to anyone about my anger. But talking to Mike, I've realised that my anger does sometimes overtake me. And I do think this will help me in the future because, as I say, I don't want to go on living the rest of my life with this anger problem.
As well as picking a head mechanic, Eddie must also choose 3 potential drivers for his team. To help him see who can handle extreme conditions, he sent them to a specially oiled up skid pan.
This skid pan is actually ideal preparation and training for what's likely to occur in the banger race. That track will have oil slicks, it'll have pieces of cars, all sorts of rubbish on the track. The people who will be the quickest and the best in the skid pan are the people who have the most control, finesse and a delicate touch. Their normal aggressive style is going to get them nowhere.
Right, a little bit of car control involved. It's very slippery out there, so if you're out of control, remove the power. Okay.
Driving instructor Neil Cox has 25 years of motor racing experience and will attempt to tame the lad's aggressive driving. Even though none of them actually have a driving license, the last thing they feel they need is a lesson.
Okay, so now we've got the car sliding. Delicate throttle and we can maintain a nice little power slide around that corner. Too aggressive, we know that car's going to come all the way around on us and be out of control.
After an hour of theory, the lads have the opportunity to prove they've taken the instructions on board.
I'm gonna go mad. I'm gonna go all out.
Go smooth.
Way too aggressive with the throttle.
Done this sort of stuff messing about, stolen cars, but I've never done it on the track.
Just spin it, we'll spin donut.
I've been in a few chases where I've like skidded and lost control and I had to gain control on that again, so...
He's a piss. You know, gonna see me go around the corner like Michael Schumacher in a minute.
Just too aggressive. They all think they know what to do, they all think they can drive, but it's just full throttle.
Too much throttle, too much throttle!
Mosh's driving is just dangerous. He's too throttle happy.
In.
He can't drive, he's taking the piss. He's just going to ruin it for everyone because he's just not going to let no one else on.
Right, you want to be a racing driver? Yeah. What did I say when I said leave?
Dad, you know what? At first I didn't know.
I don't want any excuses. What did I say?
I tried to enjoy myself leaving.
You can enjoy yourself elsewhere, but you're not going to do it out on a racetrack.
I never followed one little instruction, man. I done completely the opposite what he said.
After some haphazard warm-up laps, Neil puts them through a series of manoeuvres against the clock. With 3 driver positions up for grabs, the lads slip into a more serious gear.
He's the team leader. This is the man who's going to show every man how it's meant to be done. What the hell?
Granddad! I didn't think I was going to skid on that.
When you are on a banger track, you will slide everywhere, and you need someone that's got control but with a bit of speed at the same time.
Go in. Stop. In. Hard in. I like that. Yeah, Nicky.
Do that nice.
Okay, that was better. You had some nice little slides going. You know what you're doing with the car, but at the end of the day, bit more throttle control.
Give me some power around here. Just keep favouring the power.
No, that was quite good.
It looked good. You had feel for the car, you had a nice slide, a certain amount of throttle, and you knew exactly what you're doing with that steering.
Despite a rocky start, Neil is surprised by some of their driving skills.
I've witnessed a vast improvement on their driving. Mosh appeared to, a little bit erratic, a little bit of a lunatic to start with, but he started to listen and really get the car under control.
Mate. Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, mate. I love it.
I didn't go mad this time, innit? I didn't floor the car and that's why I done good. See, I should have just listened to him at the start, innit? Just drive slowly and that, but...
And a couple of them really, really drove extremely well.
The lads are given the placings that will help Eddie with his final driver selection.
Okay, guys, results for the time trial. It's in 6th place. Garth, well done, Garth.
Told you.
It's all gutted, innit? Because, coming last, it means you're the lowest, innit? You've done the crappiest out of everybody.
Joint 5th place. That was Rich and Dave, 112.
I'm not angry or upset about it. I'm more embarrassed at the fact that I came joint 5th with Dave. Dave is incompetent when it comes to driving. That is the most insulting thing. I would have rather come joint 6th with Garth.
Okay, dropping down to 3rd place. Mosh in 3rd place. Well done. 2nd place. A nice smooth drive. 2nd place. Meth. Good drive. The Nickies were just a little bit quicker there. Good drive, my friend. Good drive.
I feel quite pleased actually. I beat them all, and they just don't like it really.
That's why when we take the gearbox out, you can see where the gearbox is mounted. It's in line. So
all of the lads on the project have been involved in car offences, and between them have over 100 arrests.
It's hard to get on. It's a 15, no trust.
One of the lads has an electronic tag, while 2 of them have ongoing court cases. Potential race team driver Myth became involved in crime at the age of 14.
The sort of ways I would make money is burglaries or shoplifting, car stereos. I've done quite a few of them.
Since the project began, Myth has tested Eddie's patience as his attitude has steadily declined.
Myth, I'm disappointed, I have to tell you.
Last week, Myth was in court for a burglary he committed 6 months ago. Instead of being banged up, he received a fine and 120 hours of community service. Despite avoiding prison, Myth still feels hard done by.
I would rather have been put in prison for a little while I reckon that I would cope pretty well in prison. It's what I would have preferred than pay £400 and do probation for 1.5 years.
When I heard that Miff was ready to go to prison to avoid paying a fine, I was horrified. Miff, what's the problem with today?
I'm angry with the judge, she's pissing me off.
I would crawl Mount Everest rather than go to jail.
Eddie has asked the project's youth worker Vinay to try and change Miff's reckless attitude towards prison.
You know where we are?
Yeah, Brixton.
I brought you to Brixton Prison, my friend.
Is it?
We're going to be going inside Brixton Prison in a minute.
Wait. You know, yeah, come.
We're going to go inside.
Yeah.
We're going to look around. We're going to meet some people. I want to introduce you to some people inside there, basically.
There are 750 convicts locked up in Brixton Prison, South London, with offences ranging from car crime to murder. Miff is about to pay his first visit.
They keep asking me for it.
Locked up in cells 6 foot by 8 foot, living conditions are very cramped. Especially when you're sharing.
Hi there. My name's Abdul, yeah?
Miff, yeah.
Alright, bro. Cool.
26-year-old Abdul has been to prison 5 times. The first time when he was 18, the same age as Miff.
So 23 hours you're in here?
Yeah, most of 23 hours. Unless you go education or work.
Yeah.
You'd be allowed out for like say an hour to association, have a shower, make a phone call to whoever you want. And for lunchtime they'll only allow you for 10 minutes to go down, get your lunch and come back up.
Yeah.
Same tea time. But most of the day you'll be banged up in here.
So where's the gym and that?
There's no gym. There is a gym, but it's like once a week. You'll hardly go to gym.
Is it?
Yeah.
But what's your roommate like?
It's alright. It's like when I'm trying to go to the toilet, he'll turn the other way.
After all you've done, how do you feel it is like? Is it good or bad?
It's not good. No one wants to be in
It's
prison. It's like, I wish no one to be in prison. If I had a chance, I would not commit a crime.
What was it like when the first time ever you come to prison?
First time ever in prison, it was for driving offence. Driving was disqualified. I got 6 months, so I had to serve 3 month sentence.
Yeah.
And that time, it was hard. I spent the whole 3 months in my cell. I never went out my cell, never talked to no one. Really depressed.
Yeah.
Eddie knows the stats. 3/4 of under 21-year-olds who go to prison end up reoffending. He doesn't want Miff to begin this vicious cycle.
So you'll get a tray like this. They'll give you a piece of cake or fruit, and then you'll just walk around and they'll give you a portion of whatever they got there. You'll come here, and that's your breakfast pack.
Alright, so you get that with your dinner?
Yeah, you get that with your dinner. Once a day only.
Oh, and you go up to your room?
Yeah. This is what you call an exercise yarn. This is where you'll be exercising. You might come out for maybe half an hour every other day.
Football?
No, not football. They won't allow you to have a football in there. You just walk around in circle. Just for a bit of fresh air, yeah.
Miff narrowly avoided a 6-month sentence for his burglary charge. He's been in Brixton Prison for just over 2 hours.
I couldn't cope. Locked up, kept away from people, my family, friends. I've got a good chance with this program that I'm doing. I should take that chance nicely, and the probation, the 120 hours free work, the £400 fine, is better than this. It's better than prison.
That really had the impact I wanted it to have with Miff. Miff has said to me, you know, I saw his face. He didn't need to say anything to me. I saw his face while he was in there, the way he was looking around. If that's not going to tell him not to go to prison, nothing is going to tell him.
I couldn't believe that I was saying earlier that I wouldn't have minded to come to prison. I can't believe I said that. And now where I know what it's really like, I know for a fact, definitely, that I'm going to try my best to keep myself away from here.
As Eddie and the trainers tackle their hardest decision so far,
the main issue that I need to resolve is Dave.
If this guy was employed, he'd be out the door by now.
the lads get their first taste of action on a banger track. Miff is on his way to the garage. his first time back since Eddie sent him to Brixton prison in an attempt to change his views about doing time.
Alright, lads.
Where did they take you?
Brixton prison, innit?
You still want to go to prison?
No. No way. Trust me, it's
I know, I've been there, bro.
I know, so you know, innit? It's not the place, is it? Nah.
None of that for me,
Aaron, trust me, stay out of prison, mate. Stay out of trouble.
Yeah, Brixton's a bad prison.
Stay out of trouble.
No, I am.
Nice and gentle, nice and gentle. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's why I said nice and gentle.
To give the lads the skills that could lead to a permanent job, Eddie's project includes 3 days a week of intensive mechanics training.
So, all the details, as we did before, of the vehicle, yeah?
Over the weeks, Eddie's been watching the lads in the workshop to find the head mechanic for his banger race team. He's finally ready to choose the person he feels has both the commitment and the right temperament to take the role.
I'm looking for head mechanic. In other words, that person who will be responsible for the car. I've chosen Nicky. It's because his report in terms of his mechanical skills and other things have been super, and I'd like you all to say well done to Nicky.
But I just got a bit shocked here when he said Nicky was the chief mechanic, because I was thinking that Richie's going to be the mechanic, innit?
I'm glad that Nicky got this job because he was either going to be leader or head of something, so if I didn't get it, I'm glad that Nicky got it because he's the next best thing, like, and he's going to be just as good as I would be, so.
I am really happy, but like I don't really show my emotions that much. So, but I am, to be honest with you, I am really, really happy that I'm like head mechanic.
As the ultimate test of everything they've learnt on the project, the lads will be entering a car into one of Britain's biggest banger races in just over 2 weeks' time.
If you're going to enter a car in any race, whether it be bangers or Formula One, there are universal skills that are required. Apart from the mechanic side, you also need good cooperation, planning and teamwork. This is why by entering them in this race, I think they'll gain a lot from it.
Eddie has brought them to a racetrack in Norfolk to make his vital final decisions about who'll do what within the team. All the lads are present except Dave, the elusive team boss.
I think Dave's missing out on quite a lot of stuff. And it's let us all down because basically we're not working as a team really.
Dave is just a letdown. Since he's become leader, he's been in for 1 day and he has no leadership skills at all.
Despite the team boss's absence, Eddie must still finalise who will be his 3 drivers.
They've probably been chased by the police many times, but they've never been on a racetrack before. It's a completely new and different experience. They've got to get the feel for it. There's going to be so many other drivers trying to knock them off the track, bump them, bore them. It could be that some of them will choke. Some of them haven't got the bottle for it. It'd be interesting to see how they work it out. In 2 weeks' time, we will reach the climax of this project. You will represent me in this race. My name, the Jordan name, will be on the line. I don't want any of you letting me down. Today is the last day that you're going to be able to impress me, because after this, I will be announcing the drivers in this race in 2 weeks' time. You will all have an opportunity to race 10 laps around this track, and just to add a little bit of spice to the occasion, Terry here has been racing for 20 years, finished second in the European Champions, is going to be making your life hell out there on this track. He's going to be racing in front of you and behind you just to make sure that you know what you're likely to experience in this race in 2 weeks' time.
Myth is the first of the novices.
How do I jump in though?
I normally just cock my leg over.
Today is an Insight 4 race day. We're going to show them what the actual track's about, what driving a banger is like. It's very hard when you first ever start racing. Hopefully today I'm going to go out and show them that it's not as easy as they think. And on race day, they're going to go out against probably 30 cars, even more. So they're going to find it very difficult.
That's one of your shoulder ones, and that's the other shoulder one, right?
There's plenty of injuries in banger racing, so it's not a timid sport. And you go out there knowing it is dangerous.
Right.
I'm feeling a bit nervous, but I'm just going to go out there and have a go.
I think Miff is actually doing really well.
His driving is fast but controlled. Miff's gradually wising up to the dangers that can come with thrill-seeking.
My worst fear is having a bad accident while I'm driving. I know quite a few people that have passed away, have instantly died in a car crash.
Garth is next up for the challenge.
Kind of scared. I haven't really done these things, you know? Feel like a racer. Nah, you know what it is? This is just like, it's the final test now and there's no room for mock-ups. So, gonna have to shine now, you know what I'm saying?
Eddie is looking out for the drivers who can keep the car under control whilst taking the fastest line around the track.
Oh! The crucial thing about taking a corner is it's not how quick you go into the corner, it's how quick you exit. Because it's the speed down the straight determines the speed of the lap.
I am the king. Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I thought it was...
Come on, tell me about it. How exciting was it?
It was exciting, I'm not even lying. I fought like the racer. I fought like you.
Oh, come on. Aaron's doing well. Getting the apex much further around the corner. He's getting the power on down the straight. I like it.
He's going for it now. Look, he ain't having it.
Aaron was very good. He had very good technique, very, very fast.
The thing about Mosh is, particularly in the skid pan, and also even in the karting, he has the talent, but he's not prepared to control his emotions. He wants to barrel into everything. Look, he's making the same mistake. He's just about had an accident. But, you know, we'll see how he gets on, but I think he's learned a lot.
Richie is the oldest of the group and has had more driving experience than anyone else.
I don't know, I'm a bit dubious about driving a banger, you know, because there's not much around me to protect me, is there? You know what I'm saying? There's no windows, wind in my face and that. It's just like driving a convertible, isn't it?
Richie has a good discipline, you see, he's got well in control, he's keeping the speed up all the time, he's not making mistakes, he's quick into the corner, but he's actually driving it through. He's had a few skirmishes with the police, and of course that experience that he has had, you can see it here in abundance, but he's in control. That's what I like about Richie.
It was like a police chase because like, the only thing that didn't make it over chase is that I didn't look back. So I wasn't checking if there was police behind me or nothing like that. So I wasn't checking if Terry was up behind me. So like, it was just concentrate on the road and just go. It's good to finish and not be slammed in handcuffs or something like that. So it is good.
I thought he drove very well, but I didn't think he had enough vision around him. There was lots of times when I was down the inside of him, he didn't even know that I was there. And in a real race, a car would just hit him. On a banger track, you have to look around you.
Having recently been given the role of head mechanic, Nicky is not under any pressure to compete for a driver's position.
I'm not going to be the driver at the end of it because I'm the head mechanic, so it's going to give me a bit of leeway and I don't have to push it to the full extent if I don't want to.
I think Nicky is doing a super job. His lines are absolutely crack on. He is in top shape. He's enjoying it. Look, he has Terry behind him, and I think Terry is working really hard. He can't quite get up to him, and it's a real pity because Nick is going to be our chief mechanic, and you know, I need him to do that job. I don't think he can do the driving job.
banger racing veteran Terry is struggling to overtake.
Terry has been chasing him all the way, inside, outside, and he's just spun. And Terry's just had a spin trying to pass him.
Once he got past me, I didn't have to fight to stay with him. For driving ability, he was by far number one.
Well, of course, I'd love me mechanics, hands-on and everything. I love that, yeah, brilliant. But as I say, I wouldn't mind doing the driving.
With the help of Terry's expert opinion, Eddie is ready to select the 3 who will drive at the banger race.
Well done, everybody. Terry and I were really very well impressed. No crashes, no disasters. Everybody did a super job. But I have to make a decision. As you know, I came here to pick 3 drivers. One of them is going to be Miff. So Miff, could you stand over here, please? Whoa!
I actually picked you because the racing line was very, very good. You stayed on the racing line, so you went around the track very well, and that's why I picked you as well.
I'm happy. I'm just a bit nervous in case on the big day I let the team down. But hopefully it's not going to happen. Hopefully it goes all right.
Aaron, you better go that side too. Tell us about Aaron.
Yep, you drove well. You knew exactly where I was all the time, although I could have actually taken you out a couple of times, but you did know I was there. So, yeah, I thought you drove well as well.
I really wanted to be a driver, so I'm happy that I got picked to be one of the drivers. Like, I'm over the moon, so hopefully I'll win it for everyone.
One driver remains to be chosen, but Terry's opinion of who that should be creates a dilemma.
Tell us why.
Nick, you was by far the superior driver out of the whole 6 of you. All of them, I got them on the insides and everything to worry them, and I tried my hardest and couldn't do it to you.
And he spun out.
Unsure whether head mechanic Nicky should be allowed to drive as well, Eddie decides to leave the 3rd driver position hanging.
Nick's put us in a dilemma, which obviously the team boss and I are going to have to make a decision on how we overcome that problem.
A bigger problem for Eddie is that the team boss, Dave, has failed to show up on this crucial day.
Having believed in Dave so much in the beginning and giving him the job of team boss, then not to turn up and then this again to happen, he has really let me down. I am bitterly disappointed in Dave. As far as I'm concerned, Dave is no longer team boss.
It's time for Eddie to choose Dave's replacement.
I need to find a leader. Richie, come over here, Richie. Stand over here. Hey. Richie is our team boss, and he and I are going to decide how we're going to overcome this dilemma. Everyone did a fantastic job today, but I think he is the perfect guy to be the new T. Is everyone agreed?
Yeah. He's got a math for it.
I am chuffed to be picked out of the rest of the group, like, for them to believe that I can do it as well. Like, it shows that the team's got great faith in me, so I've just got to make sure I don't let the team down now. That's all I've got to do, like, so.
We've got to think about strategy. We've got to think about discipline. We need to have a very balanced, cool sense of management. We'll go through that, but I think you should be very pleased because you're the boss.
Okay. I won't let you down, yeah?
Today was a really positive day, by far the best day so far. We've picked 2 drivers, which was very important. We've picked Richie, of course, now the new team boss, and I think that's generally accepted as being absolutely the right thing to do. But Richie and I have a dilemma, because at this moment in time, Nicky is the choice to be the other driver, but he is the chief mechanic.
Having sacked Dave as team boss after repeatedly failing to show up, Eddie's called an emergency early morning meeting with the trainers Phil and John and youth worker Vinay to discuss his future on the project.
The main issue that I need to resolve here today is Dave. I put him on his last warning. He hasn't turned up on Friday, which was an important day for the racing. He could have been a driver for us, so he's let the project down very badly, in my opinion.
We are in a difficult position now because he's got a unique situation compared to the other lads there, where he hasn't got the support of his family, he is living on his own, he's got his own freedom, and he's only 17 years old. This guy's, he's still a kid.
Look, I have 6 guys in there at the moment who have turned themselves around.
Yeah.
I don't see how I could give Dave a pass certificate when he's only been here half the time. It's not fair, not alone to the other guys, but it's not fair to the next employer who's going to take on Dave and think that he's going to be regular and punctual and all of those things.
Friday was the last straw for me, really. If the guy was that up for it, he'd have been there. All the rest of the guys did, and they all turned up on top. If this guy was employed, he'd be out the door by now.
I think for me it's upsetting when you see wasted potential, and with Dave...
I don't disagree with that.
It is wasted potential.
The project could actually do with a committed Dave, with a completely focused Dave for the project. That's my problem.
As the lads find time to let their hair down, Eddie is about to make his most painful decision so far.
You let me down.
If you ain't happy with that, then you can go yourself.
There are less than 2 weeks to go before the end of the project, and Eddie is faced with his most painful decision so far.
Dave.
His former team boss has gone from star pupil to the most unreliable and disruptive member of the group, and Eddie has to tackle the problem once and for all.
You were the team boss. You let me down. You didn't turn up.
Well, I'm sorry if I let you down.
My overall objective is to get the guys who are committed, who are putting in the effort, who are punishing themselves, who will be on time, who do all the fundamental jobs. They are my priority.
And I can accept that. I don't agree with what you just said about me not put... You said they all put in the commitment, they all get here on time. Yeah, when I wasn't attending regularly...
I actually believe you're a very talented guy. I wouldn't have picked you as a team boss otherwise. I had huge potential for you. You've given me no alternative. That's the problem. I have to look at the hard facts. You weren't here today. You weren't here on Friday. How can I give you yet another last chance? In life, sometimes you have to be cruel to be kind. I'm telling you now, regretfully, I can no longer keep you in the project. Very harsh, but from the heart.
I'll try my best. If you ain't happy with that, then you can himself.
His punctuality and his attendance has been abysmal, and I cannot jeopardise this whole team just for Dave.
I came here to do 2 things. To one, show that I could use my driving skills into other things in nicking cars, and 2, to try and get an apprenticeship and try and get somewhere in life, and I failed on both. I feel about getting chucked off. I don't know where I'm going from now.
Letting people go is never an easy thing. And no matter how many times you do it, it still hurts. It's painful for everybody.
Just over a week ago, the project was in a state of collapse as attitudes amongst the lads were at an all-time low, and Eddie's prospects of turning car criminals into a team appeared bleak. Now, with the project's troublemakers weeded out, Eddie feels the remaining 6 team members can afford to let off some steam. Especially as it's St. Patrick's Day.
I think this group is now bonding. We're now winning them over. I feel I have their trust. I feel that we're making inroads, and I think we've made huge progress. Miff in particular. I think when he went along to see the prison, it opened his eyes. And I think that has transmitted through the whole group. We're actually gelling together as a team brilliantly.
We've already gelled like really well. We'll get along really well. We can have a laugh with each other.
When we came today, we see a lot of people that just looking at us like we're part of Eddie's team. You know what I'm saying? I kind of like that. I'm happy to see a smile on Eddie's face. It's good to see a good side to Eddie.
Thank you very much. Well done where he came.
Eddie's just like one of us, really. He comes out, has a good time, has a couple of drinks, and a laugh. Like,
It's just been brilliant to come out and hang about with Eddie.
Spoon tapping thing. I feel that. That's hip. See it? That's gangster to me.
They believe I'm their friend, and I am their friend. And I'm getting much better work, I'm getting much better feedback. I've got their trust, and that's a gratifying feeling.
Eddie showed us that it's not really all about being Mr. Bad and hotshot, you know what I'm saying? It's all about actually putting the work in and getting what comes out of it, you know what I'm saying?
it's the lyrical Richie on mic. When I flip on the mic, I'm a sounding fine. So we're mechanics, but we got style, we got flows, I got pros. Yeah, we're lyrical PR the old, so we keep it busting like whoa. And if you think you're ready, root where you'll get shown.
The team are on a high for the first time since the project began, but their newfound camaraderie is about to be put to its toughest test. Next week on Bad Boy Races.
He's supposed to be the team leader. He's a where is he?
Emotions erupt as the project comes to a destructive climax.
Totally obliterating the car, nearly killing my boy like.